Hello friends, good to see you again. I've been gone for over a week now. I've just been busy with some other things, recording music, and I went on a little trip. So I just haven't really had time to make a video, nor have I really had anything particularly prescient that I wanted to talk about. But I'm back now, so yeah, I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded at all. Not that I have any super die-hard fans, but just to get back into the swing of things, I wanted to make a little video going over some of the stuff I got on my recent trip, some CDs, some books, some DVDs. If you're into physical media and stuff like that, hopefully this will be an enjoyable little video for you. So we're gonna get started with the CDs I got, and I got quite a CD haul, and I guess we'll just start from the most expensive, because honestly, all of these were under, many of them were like $1. A lot of them were under $3. But this one that I'm about to show is the most expensive one that I got. And it's Dylan's Telltale Signs, which is his 8th bootleg series. This was, I mean, if you can see the price tag, it was like $13, $14, which is totally worth it because it has like, it has quite a lot of songs on it, as you can see. I've listened to a lot of his bootlegs, not every single one, but I've listened to a lot of them, and this is like one of my favorite ones. It kind of goes over a lot of the additional tracks and takes from a lot of the songs that he made during the late 90s, his sort of that newer trilogy that he made, Time Out of Mind and Love and Theft and Modern Times, that sort of thing. So it's a lot of those types of songs, and I really love that 90s trilogy that he had, and so it's very cool to get my hands on this, because this is very, very fantastic Dylan stuff. I really like the alternate version of Can't Wait. I found that one really good. Some of these songs are like kind of surprising that Dylan even made them, but he was really getting back into kind of experimenting with some new sounds in that era, which is why that era is so cool. So yeah, anyways, really cool stuff. This little case comes with the CD itself, as you can see. I got to get in the habit of actually showing the CDs, so here you go. That's the CD. Pretty cool. Just editing this video, and I realized I didn't show a single of the other CDs. I didn't show any of the other ones, so forgive me. I haven't actually opened this yet, so yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, cool little photo of him in a car. And then it's got this big, thick, very thick booklet that goes over, I guess, sort of the story of a lot of this. I'll have to read through some of this. So yeah, pretty cool buy there. Next up, we have, this is where it's the cheaper selection. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King soundtrack. I found this and just thought it was cool. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I thought, why not? I'm sure, I mean, I really like the soundtrack. Not to get too deep into Lord of the Rings here, but I think those movies, there's a lot to love about those movies. I think that without the soundtrack, those movies would not even be remotely as good as they are, because that soundtrack is just amazing. So really cool to own this. I don't really think I'm gonna listen to it that much, but it's just cool, and it was really not expensive. So yeah, cool to own this. Next on the list is Harvest by Neil Young. I'm a big Neil Young fan. I don't know if I've really talked about Neil Young a lot on this channel, but yeah, I love Neil Young. He might be like my second most listened to artist other than Bob Dylan. I'd have to check that, but I think that that's true. Anyways, Harvest is great. It's not my favorite of Neil Young. I like, I'm trying to think of the names of all of his records, but it's definitely not top of the list for me. I even think I prefer Harvest Moon over this one. I don't know, there's just a few tracks on here that are like kind of weird and feel out of place, and they have these like symphonic elements that usually I'm fine with, but they don't like really fit Neil Young's vibe, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I know this is a very beloved record. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but it does have some really good tracks on it. I really like Out on the Weekend, one of the best Neil Young songs. Old Man is amazing, and Words Between the Lines of Age is very good as well. So yeah, pretty solid record. And I got it for $1, so quite a steal. Then we have Santana Caravanserai. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I listened to this a while back. I mean, I like Santana, but I really listened to this for the album cover. If you can see it, it's just really cool. How could you not listen to this? And it's also just it's a fantastic record. So yeah, I think this was like $2 or $3. Really great stuff. I haven't actually gone back and re-listened to this record for a while. I own like 2 Santana albums on vinyl, but I don't have anything on CD, so it's cool to have something like this. I'm a pretty big Santana fan, so yeah, great record of his. Very cool. Then we have one of my probably maybe my favorite thing that I got, mostly because of the price, is Let It Bleed by the Rolling Stones. This is, I mean, a very classic record. It's got Gimme Shelter on it, which everyone knows. But I also really like, I mean, it's just a solid, I like the track list in general. It's a very solid track list. Love in Vain is really good. Yeah, You Can't Always Get What You Want. That's a classic. So, yeah, I mean, and it's just a really great CD record. I just can't wait to, like, throw this on in the car. So I was very happy to find this. I mean, it's been on my list for a while, but I can't believe I got it for such a cheap price. So yeah, really good stuff. And then we got a record I actually haven't heard, and that's Stronger Than Pride by Sade. Usually I don't buy records that I haven't heard, but this was only $1, and I'm a huge Sade fan, and I know that this is supposedly a good record. Fans of Sade like this, so there's no way I'm not gonna like this. But I'll have to spin this sometime and see what I think of it. I've listened to Sade's first few albums. I have Love Deluxe and Promise on CD, which I think I've shown off on the channel previously. Sade's amazing, so yeah, I'm excited to listen to this. I'm sure it's good. Sade's kind of a great CD artist. I don't know if you understand what that means. Maybe only I understand what that means, but there's something about it. It's just like, Sade deserves to be listened to on CD. And yeah, not much else to say about this because I haven't listened to it, but I'll have to do that. And then the final CD that I got is Beethoven's Symphony No. 9, also very cheap. And I like having classical on CD just to have options, just to have something to put on like in the background. And I mean, it's Beethoven, so hard to go wrong. I actually hadn't listened to Symphony No. 9 like in its entirety before I got this, but I knew it was good. I knew it was famous, but I didn't know exactly what it was, and I listened to it recently and realized that it's just Ode to Joy, which everyone's heard. But yeah, that's cool. You know, it's Beethoven, so hopefully I can get some like Bach or some more like modern classical stuff on CD, but I have yet to find anything super interesting. Like I'd love to find some like Arvo Part or Steve Reich. That would be very cool. So, but I don't have any of that yet on CD or vinyl. Anyways, next up, I think I'm gonna do some of the books I've gotten, because that's sort of a short section. The first one is this very beat up copy of Dune. I didn't buy this. I got it from my girlfriend's dad. He just lent it to me, and I've wanted to own Dune for a bit, and this is a very beat up copy, but you know, gives it some character. That's what I always say. It's funny because it has like the scenes from the 1984 movie on it, and this is like the poster for the 1984 movie. And it's funny because it says on the back, the magnificent setting for the best-selling science fiction novel of all time and the most spectacular motion picture ever created. That's quite a claim for them to make. You can see that right there. The most spectacular motion picture ever created. I just read that and thought it was funny. Also because I haven't actually seen the 1984 Dune movies, but I've just heard that the old movie is kind of bad. I mean, like, I can't say if it's good or bad or not, but I'm pretty sure it's not the most spectacular motion picture ever created. That's just a really silly thing to say, but hey, they said it. So, anyways, I haven't read Dune. I don't know when I'll get around to reading Dune. I really, really love the new movies. To take a little side trip to talk about the movies. I think that, and I haven't really ever talked about movies on this channel, but I'm a big movie guy. I have Letterboxd, go follow me on that. I'll put my link in the description. But yeah, I feel like the Dune movies, I honestly don't know how these movies have been made or how they are making money, but boy, am I happy that they are, because it's like, we really have like a blockbuster that is truly a blockbuster, but also is a very well-made, well-crafted, and like interesting work of art. Like it's not a safe type of blockbuster. Like it's being weird and doing things that are cool and interesting. I mean, it's Denis Villeneuve. He's an amazing director. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing that these movies are coming out. It feels like these things don't happen all the time, like the last thing I can think of is Lord of the Rings, which I was just talking about. And I wasn't alive to experience Lord of the Rings. So it's very cool to be able to experience Dune. I think that these movies are going to be classics, going to be a classic, sci-fi movie trilogy that people will be talking about for years to come. So it's just really cool to be able to see them in theaters. And I've seen every Dune movie in theaters as they've come out, and I'm very, very excited for the third movie. Anyways, that's my little rant about Dune. I really like Dune. Haven't actually read the book, but I'm definitely going to need to at some point. I've heard Frank Herbert's style of writing is a little bit esoteric, but I can get down with that. We'll have to see. The next books that I got are just sort of some random things. I got the Quran. It was only $2. I got this at a used bookstore, so it was really cheap. And I mean, I'm not super interested in Islam, but I think it's interesting to have the Quran just as a thing. I mean, it's a very, very influential work, and I like this Penguin Classics edition of it. It's nice. It's kind of compact, and yeah. So I just have that now. When will that come into play in my life? I don't know, but that's why you own things. You never know when they'll make an appearance. So, maybe one day I'll get really into Islam. Who knows? And then I found this book called Civilization and Transcendence. I don't know what the hell is going on in this cover. I think it's some sort of like Hindu thing, but I'm not entirely sure. I read the blurb on the back, and I just really liked what it was saying, because it's talking about like the false progress of economic development, it says, and how like the actual progress that we need is self-realization, which I can really get behind. It sort of goes in line with my political philosophy. So perhaps I will take some interesting things from this. And it's literally like 70 pages long, so it's quite a short read. So I'll have to read this sometime and see what my thoughts are on it. Who knows? Maybe it's a bunch of baloney. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely need to get more into Buddhist stuff and Hindu stuff, and that sort of that Eastern religion stuff, because it's always fascinated me, and I just don't know a whole lot about it. I just know sort of basic things about it, and perhaps I'll talk about that on this channel sometime, but I don't want to talk about things that are too out of my league in terms of like knowledge. So anyways, last things I'm gonna go through is, I realized I've never really shown the DVDs that I've gotten on this channel. I'm not a big DVD collector, though I want to be. I've just always been collecting CDs, but now that I'm getting more and more into physical media, I think it'd be really cool to start owning a lot of DVDs, especially like shows that I want to go back and watch all the time that always get moved around from all these different streaming services, and it just becomes really annoying to have to go back and watch them and have to figure out what streaming service I have. But the CDs that I got, or the DVDs that I got on my trip, are just, first off, Hero by Jet Li. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to see this movie. All I'm gonna say is just, this is one of the most beautiful films ever made. It's also just awesome and action-packed, and it's like the perfect length. It's such a cool movie. It's a great story. It's done perfectly well. It's just everything you want from a film, everything I want from a film. And so it's been one of my favorite films ever since I watched it. Just spectacular stuff. Why movies are made, I think, is Hero. So anyways, go watch Hero, please. Underrated, I think. I mean, it gets some praise, but you really don't hear people talking about this movie in the high regards that it deserves. Better than Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, I'll say as well. The next thing I got was Lost Season 2. And I kind of have to explain this. First of all, I have Lost Season 1 on DVD. And the thing is that I've only seen the first season of Lost. So you may be asking why I have both seasons of Lost. But the reason is I saw the first season of Lost. I was going to watch it with my girlfriend, and we were kind of trying to watch it side by side, but then that just wasn't working out. So I had to stop watching it because we want to watch it together, and we don't know when we're going to be able to do that. So that's a later project. But I did watch the first season of Lost. I really liked the first season of Lost. And then my girlfriend got me for Christmas a present, and it was the first season of Lost, but like underneath a bunch of different packagings. Like I kept having to open the gift, and it was another box, and I kept having to open it until I finally got to Lost Season 1. And that might not make any sense to you, but it's a reference to a bit from the Season 2 episode of Community, the Claymation episode, where Abed finds the meaning of Christmas, and he finds the first season of Lost. And she recreated that part, like, perfectly in a gift, which is just so awesome. I was really appreciative of that. And so, yeah, now I own the first season of Lost. And I found the second season of Lost at that used bookstore I was at. And so I thought, well, I mean, I might as well just start getting the seasons of Lost because, you know, why not? And also because Lost left Netflix recently, and so I don't know what to watch it on. So, you know, I'm going to have to watch it on my DVDs. Or I'll, like, rent it from the library or something. So, remember you can do that. If you don't know where to find a show, go rent it from your local library if you have a library card, because they probably have it, unless it's something really obscure. But, anyways, you should look into that. Yeah, so I have the first seasons of Lost. And speaking of Community, I have all 6 seasons of Community on DVD, which I'm so glad that I own this. I think I got it for Christmas a little bit ago. I have never talked about Community on this channel, but it's like probably my favorite show of all time. I've watched it God knows how many times. I've probably seen every episode upwards of like 50 times. I mean, who knows? I've lost complete count at this point. I've seen this show a lot. I love this show. Except for season 4, but we don't talk about that season. God, it's weird talking about Community because like it's just been like a part of my life for a really long time. It's just like my comfort thing. Aside from like Arrested Development as well, which I really love. I need to get that on DVD for sure. But yeah, just it's a gem. It's a real gem. If you haven't seen this show, just go see it. Just go watch it. It's for everyone, I think. It's aged very well, I think, especially compared to a lot of those other shows that were coming out back at that time. Just holds up. Just really holds up. So good stuff. Very, very, very good stuff. And I've owned this for a bit, so this isn't a new thing. The next thing, and speaking of Lord of the Rings, because we were talking about Lord of the Rings, I have the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So, yeah, I don't need to say much about this. I got all of these used for very good prices, and I'm actually interested because they all have, like, these special features discs with, like, behind-the-scenes and stuff, and I really love looking at the behind-the-scenes stuff for Lord of the Rings. It's very fascinating to me. So I really need to pop these in and sort of just, like, go through these DVDs when I get the chance. Perhaps the next time I decide to rewatch the trilogy. I've seen it, like, 3 times now. I might have seen Fellowship, like, 4 or more times now, because that I think Fellowship might be my favorite, but I go back and forth between that and Return of the King. So, anyways, yeah. Who knows when I'll rewatch these again. I don't have, like, a tradition where I watch it every year. The only movie I have a tradition about is It's a Wonderful Life, which I watch every Christmas, because I love that film. And I always find new things in that movie every time I watch it. I kind of just rewatch the Lord of the Rings trilogy whenever I get the chance to, or whenever I want to, like, show a friend or someone the trilogy who hasn't seen it before. It's getting around the time where I need to go back and watch these. Maybe I'll watch them again, like, next year. I think that might be a good time to rewatch them. So, anyways, yeah, Lord of the Rings, cool. Then we have a few other of my favorite movies ever, so I'm gonna try to not ramble about these, but bear with me. First is The Matrix. It's The Matrix. What do you even want to say about it? It's probably the best action movie ever made. I really like Mad Max Fury Road. That's another really good action movie, but yeah, this is perfect stuff. I can't get down with anybody who doesn't like this movie. What is not to like about this movie? The filmmaking is amazing. It's efficient and just the pacing is perfect. Great performances from like Lawrence Fishburne and I forgot his name, but the guy who plays Agent Smith. It's just a super intense, creative, awesome film with a very, very cool vibe and aesthetic. Even if it's not really your vibe, you have to at least appreciate how committed this movie is to its own aesthetic. It's so iconic. So yeah, The Matrix. Yeah, amazing. And then another probably in my top 4 movies ever made is Before Sunrise. I think I got this from a friend. I actually forgot where I got The Matrix, but yeah. Anyways, Before Sunrise, this movie is like magic. Every time I watch this movie, I am like transported to the world of these characters. They just feel like real people to me. There's really nothing else like this movie. It has probably my favorite movie script ever written. I mean, it's a classic for a reason. Yeah, I like the whole trilogy. I should probably get Sunset and Midnight on DVD when I get the chance to. Amazing stuff. Probably my third-ish favorite movie of all time. And then we got 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is my favorite movie of all time for a lot of reasons. I think it's probably one of, if not the best movie ever made, just from a filmmaking perspective. This movie looks insanely good. It's crazy how good this movie looks and sounds. And it has, I mean, HAL 9000 is perhaps my favorite movie villain. He is so good. And the music, the score, it's just, everything about this is fantastic. But really why it's my favorite movie is because it kind of sparked my love of films. Like when I first watched it, it really made me, I mean, it changed the way I viewed movies, but also the way I like viewed the world. I mean, they're just the amount of ideas in this movie and just the way that it makes you think about things. I had never seen a movie that had made me think so much about the world, about humanity and life and philosophy, just all of that sort of stuff. It's just something really powerful about this. And it has, I mean, like, count the scenes that are among the best movie scenes in this thing. HAL 9000's death scene, kind of a spoiler, but I mean, this movie's really old. I assume everyone's seen it at this point. HAL 9000's death scene is maybe my favorite scene in film history. Just him singing the Daisy song, but it like gets slower and slower.
I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage. I can't afford a carriage.
It's terrifying in a very, it's just really unnerving stuff. And obviously there's like the Stargate sequence and the whole last part of the movie that when I first saw it just created such a visceral, emotional like reaction in me that I had never really experienced before watching a film. So yeah, that'll do it for today. I have another CD collection video, one of my first videos actually, so you should go watch that if you want to look at the other CDs that I have. So yeah, but that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it's not too long of a video. I'll try to edit it down as much as I can. And I'm back now, so yeah. And I hope to get back into a normal sort of video making schedule. Hopefully I'll finish some of the books I'm reading soon, and I can get to talking about those and my thoughts. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one.